So guys, really special guest here with me today, Miss Rebecca Fitzsimmons, who is actually our oldest immersion client,
Yes.
one of our eldest elder. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm very kind of pleased and honoured for you to be here and sharing such an epic story also. Tell me, what was the situation or where were you at before coming to Awakened Lifestyles?
Yeah, to Awaken Lifestyles. So, wanting to come to Awaken Lifestyles, I was having trouble with emotional eating.
Yep.
So that's what I wanted to work on, and didn't really have an awareness around why that was showing up in my life and other things that it was linked to. So I just knew that that I had this really destructive pattern of binge eating every night, and and I didn't really know what to do. So.
And what did you find when you came here? So wanting to stop binge eating, I
Yeah.
want to fix that. What did you find when you got here?
When I got here, definitely mind blowing the way everything kind of fit together.
Yeah.
And just made so much sense to me. Not I guess picking and choosing the parts that I wanted to work on. The fact that it was integrative and it all worked in together, and there's not parts that you can selectively numb.
Wow.
That it all works together.
And so, what are we talking about there? Like when you say there's parts that I could numb, or seeing that everything was kind of holistic and I had to look at all areas of my life.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. When you're saying I had to look at all areas of my life, what are we saying there? What do you...
So, for example, with the emotional eating, I didn't realise that it was so linked to how I felt about myself, how I felt about my relationships showing up in life, and was running this pattern of worthlessness. The worthlessness was linked to abandonment, and I was like, oh no, I just need to learn how to eat chicken and broccoli, right? It can't be all of that. So I guess zooming out and looking at the bigger picture was a huge thing for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're very humble about that. You're like, oh yeah, just want to look at the bigger picture. But Beck has an incredible, very incredible story of transformation within her own life, and coming from places that most people would only be really, really, scared of, and having overcome serious adversity in her life, for you to turn up and then say, hey, I thought it was just about learning how to eat the food. I thought it was just about learning how to eat chicken and broccoli.
Yeah.
When in reality, it was, these deeper patterns that are at play. So you're talking about the worthlessness, you're talking about the abandonment.
Yeah.
It's really funny. It's not about the food, right?
No.
It's got nothing to do with the food. It's got nothing to do with the willpower.
No.
It's the reasons why I'm using food for more than nourishment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that can be anything,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think the vices show up in many different ways of just how to avoid feeling feelings, how to avoid feeling uncomfortable, and in the long term, basically, you get it back with interest anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So you might as well just learn how to feel the feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like, you nailed it there. Any feeling I'm trying to outrun or avoid or deny is going to come back. Like, trust me, I tried, and like you tried too. We tried many and varied things to try and avoid and suppress those feelings. Yeah. And you just can't. Short term, you might be able to, like eating the food.
For a bit.
Whatever. Long term, it always comes back to bite you on the ass. Mm-hmm. So I had to learn, or you had to learn how to deal with those feelings.
Yeah.
What are some of the, light bulb moments or massive awarenesses that you've kind of had since doing your inner work?
Since doing my inner work, I think the biggest thing that I was running was that I am my story. I had a background of different types of sexual assault and abuse, and I thought that's all I was. I was playing the victim, basically. Mm-hmm. And from that just kept replaying the same story and rewriting the same story.
Wow.
But when I looked at it all as a whole, doing the deep dive, doing the deep dive and looking at all the areas, how it all fit in together from start to up to where I was, and realizing that I actually can rewrite the story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of a really difficult one and tough one. Like you're saying, there's sexual abuse, there's sexual trauma, there's a history of that kind of stuff happening in your life.
Yeah.
For many people, they could, like you said, play that victim and go, well, that wasn't my fault. This stuff happened.
Yeah.
And, that's just how it is, kind of thing. Whereas you're kind of saying, well, I'd recognise that was a story that I'd been running, and I've done the deep dive process, and as a result, you're now kind of free of that story, or able to change that story, or
able to change the story, able to see huge amounts of growth and gifts in that story.
Wow.
And not being scared of it anymore. Not carrying that shame or guilt. Around it anymore.
Wow.
Really just, rather than going, that's something that, I wish hadn't happened, going, just accepting it for what it is and not letting it run the whole show.
So not letting your story define you or your past define you. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I've got to be really honest, the Beck that I met, a few years ago, probably wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation.
Oh, hell no.
That in itself is just major progress.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, if I can just speak really frankly, I don't know you won't mind, I just remember being really nervous and really timid and kind of really frightened of life as a whole.
Yeah.
And today I don't see that.
Yeah.
Yes, we still have fears, and yes, I'm sure there's still stuff that we work through. Same with me. None of us are cured, so to speak. But tell me a little bit about some of the shifts that have occurred as a result of doing the work.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Fear was the biggest one. The young lady that came to see you first, I was scared of everything. Some days I wouldn't make it out the front door because I was scared of everything.
Wow.
I also, my nervous system, I used to shake all the time, and people used to say, "Oh, you're shaking," and I don't shake anymore.
Yes.
Yay.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty dramatic.
Yeah. Life changing.
Yeah.
Life changing. No joke. So now I skip out my front door and do all sorts of fun things that I just wasn't able to do before. Get excited for things. I know what's fun for me now and what I like to do now. Really just got me my joy back. So is that enough? No. It's huge. Yeah, it's huge. So one of the biggest things is knowing what my fears were so that I can check up on them. And, it took a lot of practice at first. Was something that, was a bit of homework that I had to do for myself.
Absolutely.
And now it just happens automatically. I'm going, is that something to really be scared of? Is that an actual fear, or is that something that, maybe we can sort of, walk through gently and do anyway? And it just happens.
It's so nice to hear that. I mean, I remember working with you myself for quite some time, and I remember us having, I guess, almost debates around that, where it's like, hey, just give me the steps, and you're a bit of a PD. Like, you're a really good student, as far as people actually turning up and doing the work. There's no one like Beck.
I'll read all the books.
You read all the books, you do all this stuff, and I remember us having these debates around light-hearted debates, but around when's it going to work, and how am I going to do this, and what I have to do, and
how long is this going to take?
Exactly, how long is it going to take, right? And now it's really cool for you to say, well, it's just kind of subtly fell into place by doing the reps and doing the sets and by applying the work in your life.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing. So tell me, someone who has read all the books and done a lot of work. I mean, but before we go into that, what are other modalities that you've explored or tried over the years? Because this has been a lifelong journey, right?
Yeah. So would see a psychologist and psychiatrist on the reg.
Mm-hmm.
Was medicated. I've done everything. So I've been to Tony Robbins. Did all that.
Yeah.
I've seen a kinesiologist. I've seen a naturopath. I've you know, there isn't much that I haven't tried.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're not going to discount them or discount
not at all.
the validity of any of them. But what I'm curious about is what was different about doing inner work through our modality. Like what?
Yeah. Okay. So what was different about doing inner work? Number one, you coaches are the real deal. You share your stuff. You know, and you know, it's lived experience. You've been through it, and you know, and can really get on a level of true empathy. So that was really important to me to start with. And then the next thing, I think, all the workbooks are really, really helpful for me. Best day ever was the clearest I've ever dreamed, I think.
Wow.
Doing the best day ever.
How good.
But then the deep dive for me, working through everything, I mean, I remember you giving me the resentments work, and I procrastinated on it for so long because I was just like, I resent so much that, you know, I'm never going to stop writing these things out. And then once it was actually done, I was just like, it really, really wasn't that much. It really wasn't that hard. And the freedom of being able to put that stuff down, you know, after you've written it out, after you've looked at it, after I've gone through it with my coach and everything else, I've gone, you know, it feels, done's not the right word, but it feels like it's found its place.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it kind of feels clear. Like, and
Exactly,
it feels complete. Like the best way I describe to clients, for those who don't know, our deep dive is a book that we've put together with 138 questions where you go through your entire life and dissect everything. So like Beck mentioned, you know, resentments, but we also go through like the fears, the worthlessness, abandonment, powerlessness. We go through sex, we go through relationships, we go through guilt, we go through basically everything. And for the purpose of being able to, you know, take the backpack off and kind of go, all this shit I've been carrying around probably is, a lot of it may not even be mine.
Yeah.
A lot of it might be stories that I've been telling myself about what might have happened or whatnot. And then, like you said, getting clear or getting complete around that stuff and going, hey, I don't want to bring that into my now, and I don't want to carry that with me into the future.
Yeah.
Or I might also learn, wow, I can forgive myself for a whole lot of stuff because it made sense the way I acted or reacted.
Absolutely,
you know?
Yeah.
And so cool to hear that you're that you've had such profound change from that. Like,
Huge change.
I actually I'm a little bit jealous in the sense that I worked with Beck for a long time myself, and then she's been working with Em, one of our coaches here, and since she's been working with Em, she's just kind of gone like whoom on this trajectory. Right? Just here, I'm like, I don't even know this person anymore. Like, she's just lighter and brighter, and it's actually really amazing to see the transformation in you. So
Thank you.
no, like it's you clearly do the work, you know. And for someone who has, like Beck's kind of really humble about it, and for someone who has had real shit to work through in their life, like real shit, and we don't need to name it necessarily, but believe me, guys, if there's someone who's been there, done that, got the postcard and the t-shirt to prove it, it's Beck, you know. And if you think you've been in bad or unpleasant places or experienced stuff in your life that isn't cool, I guarantee you people that have been here probably have seen as bad or worse. And it's not a competition, but if she can change and if we can change, anyone can.
Yeah.
And I really mean that. Any practices or processes that you do now as a result of your inner work that serve you?
Me. I think setting intentions is really really helpful for me, just to check in with myself, trust my intuition, find out what I really want, and keep myself accountable.
Yep.
As well. Such a simple thing as, just picking one word for the day.
Yeah.
And, it'll change the day.
Absolutely. You can kind of create my life now, right?
Yeah.
I'm not just a passenger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So good. What have you gained?
What have I gained? Besides my life back. So confidence. I think anyone who's known me throughout this journey will attest to that.
Totally.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Really. I got myself now. Like, I really,
Wow.
I got myself. I back myself.
Wow.
I like myself. I love myself. Like,
wow.
and it makes life easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I get that. Like, this isn't fake.
No.
Like, she's the real deal. On a Monday night, we run our inner work circle, and Beck comes in and just shares this wisdom where I just go, whoa, I need to learn a little bit from you sometimes, like, honestly. And it's like this confidence shines through, and this honesty and this authenticity and this just realness kind of comes through that, again, I guess wasn't there before. So so good. Sorry, I'm blowing my own mind as I go through it. Okay, so to have gained all of that, like gaining myself back and my life back, and being able to say I love myself and I like myself and I like who I am and I know who I am. Okay, that's the stuff I've gained. What were if there are a couple of things that you needed to face or overcome, and I know we've touched on a bit of it, but if there's any stuff that you needed to face or overcome to do that, what were they? Or what was it?
I was carrying around a lot of shame.
Yeah.
I thought I was an authentic person, but I was very selectively authentic.
Yeah.
Bit of a loophole there.
Yeah, wow.
So not showing up, not letting people see the real me, not connecting with other people. I think also a lot of I didn't really trust myself.
Yeah.
Didn't really I would sort of think that you're going to make the wrong decision, so just don't make a decision.
Wow.
You're going to be, you're going to put yourself in the wrong situation, so just don't face it. Avoidance.
Yep.
And that came from a place of not trusting myself.
Yeah. So from a place of fear.
Yeah.
Wow. And was it easy to face that stuff?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, good answer.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of resistance, anxiety, fear, but actually doing it and going through it, it's never as scary as you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of the haunted house is scarier than you actually go through it. It's actually kind of lame.
Yeah, wow, awesome. That's really, I like the analogy.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. And so definitely not easy, but not as scary as my mind said it was going to be. Is what I'm hearing. Yeah. And then there's growth at the other side.
Yeah.
If there was someone sitting there going, oh wow, I really relate to Beck's story, or I have some stuff that I need to look at, or I've been carrying around for a really long time, what would you say to that someone who was in the same position you were those few years ago?
Yeah. It's not as scary as you think it's going to be.
Yep.
And they're, cliche, but there genuinely really is light at the end of the tunnel. And don't walk through the tunnel alone, especially when you've got cool guys like these that'll see you through it.
Yeah.
There's no need to be a hero. Don't do it yourself.
Yeah.
Community's the best.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I really, I've been looking forward to this day for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we can do it, and you can, you know, nail it so openly, authentically, you know, because this isn't easy, guys, by the way. Like, no, seriously, like I'm the guy asking the questions, and I can still get nervous before these sessions because I know they're going to be seen by thousands of people all over the internet, and you know, for Beck to come on and share that, like, just consider, would you be willing to share your deepest, darkest stuff on a camera which is going to go to a literally unlimited number of people? You know, and so major respect to you, my friend, because I know there's a lot of people watching right now feeling the way, being through stuff that you've been through, and don't have the courage to face it. So I honour you for that. Major respect. It's just made my week.
Yay.
Thanks, babe.